I thought we started off the game really well, obviously. We got out to an early lead. You know, we have to be able to put 40 minutes together and not turn it on and off. Give San Diego State all the credit in the world, though. They got a couple tremendous players in Jalen McDaniels and Devin Watson, who are tremendous players. I mean, they fought back. You know, it's the Mike Tyson old saying. It's you know, you find out what your plan is once you get punched. And you know what their plan was? They punched right back, and we didn't have a response. I thought to start the second half it was a little bit better, but again, as kind of the game wore on, they pulled away. But again, give San Diego State all the credit in the world. They deserved to win that game. They outplayed us.
Let's take questions for our players, Quentin Goodin and Zach Hankins. Raise your hand and we'll bring you a mic. We'll start in the front with Shannon.
Quentin, you had a career-high 20 points, but the team was ahead by 19 and lost that lead. Are you discouraged at all by the fact that you guys have struggled to play with a lead and be consistent?
I wouldn't say discouraged is the word. I feel like we still trying to figure it out. I feel like this tournament is really good for us, get away from home, find our team chemistry. We still trying to figure out our roles and take care of the missing pieces from last year. I feel like, you know, San Diego State, you know, they're a good team. They gave us our best shot. And, you know, I feel like, you know, we just keep that lead, we'll win the game. I feel like our minds drifted during the game and we didn't stay focused throughout the game. And that's what caused us to lose.
Thanks, Quentin. Follow-up?
Zach, everything kind of seemed to go right for the first 10 minutes. What went wrong after that?
Kind of the same thing as what Q says. Just, you know, our minds start wandering, and that's kind of been an issue for us. We just need to work on staying focused, but we still have a lot of time to grow and a lot of time to peak at the end of the season.
Zach, does that surprise you, having 3 grad transfers and a couple guys that have been in the program, that you would, even though you have new pieces, that focus would be a problem?
I mean, it is a lot of new pieces, and we still have a lot of chemistry to gain. But we you know, we're getting closer every day, and we're learning each other's games every day more and more. So I fully believe as the season progresses, we're just going to continue getting better and better and better.
Myron.
For both players, it seemed like last year you had some guys who, in that situation, could settle everybody down, kind of stabilize things. Is this team still looking for that guy or those guys to be able to kind of steady the ship in those moments?
I wouldn't, not really. I feel like if we didn't drift our minds, we wouldn't have put ourselves in that situation. You know, we would have kept that lead. I feel like, you know, at this point of the season, I just feel like we got to lock in, you know, because it happens in practice too. And I feel like we just got to focus even more. I feel like as a captain, it's my job, you know, to keep those guys in check. So I guess I'll figure that out.
I would add on, just say our captains are, you know, continuing to break out into those roles and doing that a lot better.
Thanks, Zach. Mark?
For both players, just what changed with San Diego State? What did they start doing differently? When they were down 19. How were they able to get back into that?
I think that we lost focus defensively. We started, you know, playing out of our own system, and so we'd help in too much and just give them wide open rhythm threes, and they started hitting those. And so that's really been the main thing we got to do, is just stay focused, stay locked in on D, even when we're up that much.
Yeah, just go off of that. They stuck to their system. I feel like, you know, they smelled blood and got more aggressive. Whereas to us, you know, we kind of, you know, faded away when the crucial moments can kind of hit and adversity hit. And they just got more aggressive and kept trusting each other. I feel like we hurt ourselves more this game than they hurt us.
Thanks, Quentin. Any other questions for the players? All right, we'll let you get back to your team. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Go back to Myron for questions for the coach.
Travis, heard the same thing from both coaching staffs after I talked to him after yesterday's loss and then today's. Hey, that's a really good team, and they're going to get better. Even in a loss like this, can you see some of that progress and see this team improving going forward?
Yeah, you know, I think it's obviously a long season. We're going to look a lot different in December and January because of games like this. You know, San Diego State's a good team. They're a well-coached team. We got a lot of room for growth on both ends of the floor, that's for sure. But I do think we're getting better. but give San Diego State all the credit in the world for the win today.
Devon.
Coach, if there were probably one or two things you want to see improved with this team over the next game, what are those things you want to focus on?
You know, I would say two things. I'd say, number one, when our guys drive the ball, it's not my turn. You know, it's like I feel like we keep on pressing the repeat button on a song, a bad song. It's like it keeps on happening over and over and over and over and over again. And at some point, it's got to change to get a different result. And you know, again, I feel like a lot of times, like we're not competing against Auburn. We weren't competing against San Diego State. We're competing against ourselves. And we have to be smarter, and we have to be able to make great decisions once we get there, because we're getting the ball to the paint a lot, but we're taking a lot of bad shots once we get there. And when you have three guys on you, it's not a good shot. It means somebody's wide open. You know, the game's got to be played slow. And, again, I think we're asking more out of our guys that are returning. They weren't put in those roles last year. You know, Quentin wasn't. Najee wasn't. Paul wasn't. Those are three of our primary playmakers off the bounce, and I think those guys have to continue to grow in that area for us to become a good team. And then I think defensively, I think it's staying at home on shooters. Again, it happened over and over again today against San Diego State, where I think, you know, like the Devin Watson kid would drive the ball. All of a sudden, we would help off the ball side corner. We'd leave it wide open for a three, or rhythm three for a guy that could really shoot the ball. And, again, staying locked in, especially in the second halves when the defense is away from us, has been an issue with our team so far.
We'll go to Mark and then Myron.
Coach, you opened the game 5 of 7 on threes, and a few of those are pretty contested. Was this just a case of you made some really, really hard shots and then you just missed them? Or what? I mean, you went from that to missing 13 straight.
Yeah, no, I thought we had some pretty good looks early on, to be honest. I think Elias took one tough one after he had a couple wide open ones. But I thought we had some really good looks early on. And I think, you know, obviously their defense tightened up as the game went on. But, again, I think it goes back to when we play the game the right way, when we drive the ball and we make the right reads. Again, it has nothing to do with San Diego State. It has nothing to do with Auburn. It has nothing to do with our opponent tomorrow. If we do what we work on every single day in practice, it's like I told our guys, then I'll live with the results. We'll live with it, win or loss. But when we don't, it's a problem. And we got to get those fixed. We got to stop being our own worst enemy, because I really feel like we're competing against ourselves. And, again, part of it is new guys and new roles. There's no question about it. But you can't get bored with the simplicity. You know, you have to, you know, I'm a big baseball fan. Like, home run hitters strike out a lot. Guys that get on base, those are the guys that get paid a lot of money in baseball. And we want guys that are getting on base, hit singles, trust each other, move the ball, make the right plays. And, again, it's a work in progress, obviously. But if you can't get bored with the simple plays.
We'll go to Myron here.
I'll ask you the same question that I asked your players. You know, how difficult is that transition when you have guys last year who seem to just be able to steady the ship in those moments, and having new guys who are trying to, you know, step into those roles this year?
Yeah, you know, Myron, it's difficult, but at the same time, man, there's no excuses, no explanations with our program. There's no moral victories, man. We expect to win. And we have to figure it out sooner rather than later. Sooner rather than later. I mean, we got to get guys that are going to mature, grow in those areas. You know, last year we relied on, at the end of games, we had a lot of close games last year. We had a closer. We had Trayvon. And he made all the big plays, or JP made several big plays as well. And you know, I don't think, you know, sometimes I think the media's made a big narrative of it. It's like, well, hey, you know, like, are these new guys getting thrusted in the same role that Trayvon and JP were? No, they're different players. They have to be them, be really good at what they do. And then I'm good with that. And it's like I said, like, I think, again, our guys got to learn how to play with one another, how to share the basketball, make the right plays, not force it. Which I thought we took a lot of forced shots in the second half, and even later on at the end of the first half when they went on their run, I thought we were taking some forced shots. And our guys don't mean to. They're not selfish guys. They got to learn, though. It's our job as a coaching staff to teach those guys and help guide them to where they can learn and continue to get better in that area.
Take a final question from Shannon.
Coach Steele, Ryan Wellage played really well in the first 2 games and was one of your top scorers, but today he was pretty quiet, didn't even take his first shot till the second half. Was there any reason behind that, or just the way the game was going?
I think it was the way the game was going. I think San Diego State, again, give them credit. You know, he played in their league last few years, so they knew who he was pretty well. They did a good job making sure that they were there on the catch every single time for Ryan. I thought Ryan got frustrated a little bit. You could probably tell. So, again, I think it's kind of game to game, Shannon. You know, there's going to be games where he's going to be good. Like, you know, again, scoring, you know, I know Zach had whatever it was, you know, 15 off the bench or whatever. Ryan didn't have as good of a game, you know, offensively as he'd like to have. But, again, he had a couple good looks. I thought he had the one really good look there in the second half. Just missed it. And that's okay, man. We'll live with that shot.
Thanks for your time, Coach. We'll let
Thanks.
you get back to the team.